On this computer. Good morning, everyone. Charles Park, broker manager, Remax West, broadcasting you live from our Scarborough branch out here in East Toronto. The time is now 10:04 a.m. 10th of March. Where's this month gone? It's all the snow was melted and it's revealed all the beautiful garbage underneath the snow piles. It's brutal out there. It is dirty. So, but you know what? I'm gonna take the warmth. I didn't wear a winter jacket for the first time in a long time. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I think the warm weather is helping the market because people are actually getting out again.
My open house was quiet.
Your open house was quiet? Shocking. So I've seen the activity in Broker Bay company wide, and the showings are increasing. So I think a lot of people who are hesitating to get out and look for housing, they're coming out now. And we know, for those of you who were part of my I did the Mindset Matters last week, not this past Monday, but the previous Monday.
Mhm.
And I talked about the market outlook that I attended 5 times with Trev. So I've heard the presentation 5 times from Jason Mercer, and the pent-up demand is ginormous. There's a year's worth of transactions that are just waiting to happen. So that's great news. So I'm going to start off with that because that's really positive, because we should always start off on a positive note. But I am going to talk about some positive and some negative things, whether you look at it that way or not. And today's topic is who's buying and who's selling in this market. We were all kind of looking around going, who needs to buy and who needs to sell? And that's what we're going to talk about. So for those of you who track people on social media, there's a whole bunch of influencers out there, and they've all mentioned very similar things. But the most poignant thing that I came across just recently was actually a real estate agent from Waterloo, and he had mentioned the 5 Ds. Now, what are the 5 Ds? Okay, number 1, death.
Yes.
Okay, number 2, divorce. Number 3, debt. Number 4, distress. Right, and number 5, demographics. Okay, so for those of you who are taking notes, right, or just watching this video, I will make this video available to anyone who registered. Those are the 5 things. Now, if you're an American, there's actually a 6th D, deployment. As distressing as that might sound, unfortunately, for military families, that is a real thing. And it is causing kerfuffle just south of the border. So I have cousins in the US, and they have friends who have relatives in the military, and there's a lot of shuffling going on right now. Okay, it's a scary time. Now, I'm not going to call deployment a 5D. What I am going to do, good morning, Manis, is I'm going to kind of fold that into distress, because I think when you fall under the category of a distressful situation, which is deployment, right? That's really going to get your thought process going on where you need to move. I will share a story with you guys. I did previously, historically, have a brief contract with the Canadian Armed Forces. So even here in Canada, I did soldier relocations, mostly temporary, because I'm not sure if you know, but at York Mills and Yonge Street, there is a military college there for officers. So I actually had a number of medical personnel. There's, the medical division of the Canadian Armed Forces who relocated, dentists, doctors, and whatnot. And then people that were trying to study. I actually met a major who was studying to be a lieutenant colonel. And he had to take certain courses here in Toronto. So I ended up leasing him a condo at Yonge and York Mills. And what was interesting is that he was actually the first. His name was David Proteau. He was a French-Canadian soldier and a major at the time, and he wanted to become a lieutenant colonel. So in order to qualify for that, he had to take certain courses here in Toronto. Now, he only needed 9 months, which isn't very long, because that's the 1-year curriculum that you have to go through in order to qualify to become a lieutenant colonel. I ended up getting a 1-year lease, but the Canadian military paid for the entire year, even though he didn't need it. So that was nice. And also there was a contingency there because should he decide to stay and take some other courses that he would have that condo available. So it was really nice back in my, I'm gonna go back almost 10 or 15 years ago, when I had access to that relocation stuff, that it was really cool to meet these people. And he actually reached out to me. Now, the importance of a listing, I actually had in Hogs Hollow on William Carson, I had a 2+1 um, condo for lease. And that's how he reached out to me. And even though that was just way too much for him to handle, and they're allowed to use whatever agent they want. However, after meeting me and showing them that condo, he was just like, "Look, I like you. You're not on my short list. Because I wasn't on anyone's short list at the time. Would you mind helping me find a suitable place for me to stay for a year so that I can take my courses?" And I was like, "Absolutely!" Like I didn't even question it. And it was because of that introduction that my name got added to the list of suitable agents, I guess you could call us, for military relocations. So that's just a story that I wanted to share with you guys. Um, let's talk about death. It's tough to talk about. I get it.
This is the right time.
This is the right time. Oh my gosh. Um, so as a lot of you know, I've spoken about, I do have a relationship with an estate trustee. So whenever someone passes away, and we'll talk about probate first of all. For a lot of new agents that are probably on the call today, you may not know what probate really means. We have a probate clause at OREA. And what the probate clause really does is that if a person passes away and there's no definitive will or action, like there's no joint tenant for title to automatically transfer to, if you're a real estate drops to your estate and there's no will, it becomes complicated because there is technically no trustee that can sign on behalf of the estate. So quite often you'll have an executor, right? A lawyer who can execute documents and get the process moving. But until a judge actually puts a seal on an estate trustee, right? That person has no authority, right, to sign on behalf of the estate, right? So the probate clause that you guys are going to see in OREA really addresses the closing date. Okay, so realistically, when you sell a property, even though there's been no estate trustee assigned, and because it may be under dispute, it may not be, right? The beneficiaries is another thing. So if there are a number of beneficiaries and they're fighting in court over the estate, that's a completely different issue. So I'm dealing with an estate trustee right now, and he's the third lawyer in on this file because there's a lawyer for the children and there's a lawyer for the widow. And he's been a neutral lawyer that's been appointed to sell the property on behalf of the estate, who's neutral, right? And he went out and he seeked out actually one of our agents, and she brought me involved. It was an apartment building, so obviously some commercial aspect to this. So she brought me in, and I'm dealing with him now. What's interesting, and I haven't got a response back from FINTRAC yet, is whether or not, because there's 4 beneficiaries. And last October, you know that the FINTRAC rules did change. The identification of beneficiaries with 25% or more is a requirement under the new changes under FINTRAC. So I have 4 beneficiaries, technically all equal 25%, beneficiaries. So I said, do I need to individually identify them? Because I don't directly work for them. I work for the estate trustee, right? He's appointed me. I have no direct contact to the beneficiaries. So how do I identify these people for record keeping purposes? They still haven't gotten back to me. I don't think they figured it out yet. So I'm going to rely upon the attorney, right, to handle this on my behalf, right, because he obviously has had direct contact with them. Should it ever push come to shove, there's nothing erroneous happening here. So I'm confident that, I just want to know what the record keeping requirements are. Now, I'm going to say to the listeners on this particular session, I live vicariously through all of your experiences. So my knowledge is amplified by your encounters of questionable things that can happen out in the field. Because you call me and ask questions and I go get the answers, my brain is somehow on overdrive with all that information kind of stored. So having hundreds of agents going out there and encountering certain problems allows me to centrally be a repository of your experiences. So reach out to me, okay? I love sharing stories, and even if something happened in one of your circumstances that I may not be aware of that may have applied, I'll reach if I remember who went through this encounter or this experience. I may reach back out to you and say, hey, I've got an agent who's got a situation. I'm not sure if you dealt with that situation. If I can ask a question and how that was resolved, right? All relating to death. So we know that it happens. We don't live forever, right? We all take care of, some of us are taking care of elderly parents. And when those parents, we try to get their affairs in order. So when they have real estate, that's probably the biggest asset that you're going to be dealing with. It's really important that you know how to be sensitive in those dealings with people who are dealing with a death in the family, right? And what's even worse is when there's no beneficiaries at all or no will, but there is real estate. It's really tough. It's a long process, guys. We thought the landlord tenant board was bad, and there's only one estate court in Ontario, and that's in Toronto, nowhere else. So the rest of Ontario has to come to Toronto, right, to file these cases. It's yeah, lucky us, because we're the vast majority of the population, and this is the only place where this specific type of court exists. Okay, so great. Let's leave it off at that. Probate, out of province heirs and executors. So this things get a little murky when someone dies and the estate and the beneficiaries are in two different provinces. I don't have a lot of experience with it, but obviously you have.
Not a lot, but I've dealt with it too.
Well, you've dealt with it.
Yeah.
That's so can you share like how did you guys deal with that?
So the thing is, one lived here and the two other siblings lived outside of province.
Yep.
They were all amicable. They were all friendly, and that made the experience awesome. It was easy to do. They all followed the instructions, we did everything electronically. It all came together. I've been part of estates where that's not the case.
Yeah.
But they were all local. I couldn't have imagined if they weren't. That would have, the level of complication would have gone up by 10, right? But I was lucky, so everything went smoothly. They followed all the instructions. We did all the things, and everything happened in a timely fashion.
Did they have lawyers outside of province?
They didn't. Like
Wow.
The three siblings had all,
Because it was amicable.
Yeah, they had all worked it out. In the places where it's not, that's a
whole different can of worms.
different ball.
Okay, so for those of you guys, you might not be able to hear Minus in the background here, but he actually had a very amicable situation where and I've had that same situation as well, but there was no dispute as well. So if anybody's had any experiences where they've had some kind of estate sale and the beneficiaries are out of province, or maybe the beneficiaries are here and the property is out of province, we got to look at that, because obviously our licensing is specific provincially. We are only licensed here unless you go and write the exams in another province and can sell over there and be registered. I had one agent who was dual registered. Actually, I had two agents. One agent was dual registered between Alberta and Ontario, and I had another one from Quebec and Ontario. So it was a fantastic exchange, and like we went through this equivalency thing through RICO and all this kind of stuff, because he was coming from these two actually individuals came to Toronto from those provinces. I never had anybody. I've had one agent from this actual office go to Moncton and become a real estate agent in Moncton, New Brunswick. Obviously he had to go through the whole equivalency process over there, but I didn't get to see it because it was done over there. I only get to see what happens here. So I think it's really interesting if you have a lot of dealings out of province. It may be ideal for you to be a member of both provincial boards and be able to trade in both provinces. Okay. Deferred maintenance is common in a lot of these estate sales. When people are nearing, especially if it's planned, right? Nearing the end of their lives, the maintenance of properties usually becomes an issue. There is a designation for elderly people. I think it's called the senior representative designate, SRES or something like that. Yeah, you have that. Okay. You have that as well? Oh, good for you guys. So would you recommend people getting that designation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like in this day and age, especially considering most people that you're gonna deal with are gonna be seniors that own homes, right?
Yeah.
That already own homes that that something will have to happen.
So
yeah.
I knew a couple of the instructors, and I know a couple of people that have the designations. I've never done it myself, but Brian Madigan's doing it. That's right. Okay. Hey, plug for Brian Madigan. Okay, so if you can teach the class, definitely get enrolled. I think you learn sensitivity. All right. Secondly, you get exposed to a third-party service providers that help you with unique situations that are specific to that type of transaction. Uh, yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about for death. Let's move on to the next one.
Can I
Well,
ask you something,
yeah, sure.
Charles? I
Yes.
think one thing that we probably need to work on is the type of retirement home too, because nowadays we deal with a lot of I get a lot of inquiries about seniors who are willing to sell, but they don't really know the process of what's going to happen after because the retirement home are not being listed. So we just, I was desperately looking for sources to find the type of retirement homes.
I know personally of many. Unfortunately, the ones that I know of are quite expensive.
Yeah,
It is challenging for
it
an
is very
individual,
challenging. I took the
financially.
SRES. I took the SRES myself. I got the designation, but there was nothing in that course, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I mean, that's something that's missing.
yeah.
Anyways, I want to share that. Yeah.
If you
It's good
guys,
to have that
maybe we can
information.
develop some internally, we can develop some kind of database. If you guys wouldn't mind sending me the list of known homes.
Mhm.
Now, unfortunately, through my first marriage, we actually had to admit my wife's mother to palliative care because she had a stroke and she needed special type of care. But that's government, okay? That's the hospital.
Yeah.
That was in Richmond Hill. That was York Central. I think it's called something else now, but there are different situations that I think that
Yes.
require different
It
types of.
requires a different course altogether because my background is social work. So I knew a lot about it myself
Yep.
already, but when I got to the field, I realized that there are so many things that you really need to know, especially when it comes to the more exclusive kind of settings.
Yeah. So
Okay,
if
thanks.
you guys would, so I got 3 SRESs on the call. That's amazing. I think you guys can share your knowledge. Maybe what I'll do is I'll bring Brian Madigan one of these times. I'll get him to talk about the course briefly, and this will probably spur some more interest in that kind of education. Let's talk about divorce. Been through it twice, unfortunately. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Um, Divorces are very interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
They're always interesting.
Yeah, they're always interesting.
Yeah.
The dynamics they can be amicable, they cannot be amicable. Obviously, okay, so here's what my notes say. It requires neutrality. Now, I've been in a number of situations where the realtor, purchased the home for a married couple, and then when that married couple had a marital breakdown, they went back to their original realtor, and your loyalties are going to be tested. And if there is any inkling of any bias towards one party or the other, all of a sudden, that person who feels victimized by the bias is going to seek out another realtor.
Co-listing.
So yeah, that co-listing agreement, OREA has issued out a co-listing agreement. I think it's the best neutral way of having both of you on the file, being able to represent your respective client who you're aligned with. Alignment is a legal term quite often thrown around because alignments can often be misaligned for some particular reason and subject to interpretation. So you may have accidentally, or you said something that you thought was completely neutral, but it was not received and interpreted that way. So it's really difficult, I know, but that neutrality component is something that you got to almost be trained to do. We love to talk. I know we get paid to gab. We got the gift of the gab, right? This is not a time to be gifted and gabbing. Okay, you're not wheeling and dealing, guys. Right? I'm gonna say it quite blatantly. Shut up. Okay, shut your trap. Okay, you're not selling anymore. You're counseling.
Yes.
Okay, attorneys are often involved. I'm gonna say always involved. Okay, I've never been in a divorce situation where attorneys weren't involved. Seriously. Okay.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't know what else to say about that because when you're dealing with divorce attorneys, family law, come on, guys, cha-ching for these guys. These guys are like there's only one party that really wins in a divorce, and that's the lawyers.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about, sorry, Charles, what about like if it's a mediation case?
Okay, so I've been to a MET-ARB, mediation arbitration. For those of you who don't know what mediation arbitration is, it is a simpler, faster, more nimble process where the two parties agree to hire a mediator, right? Now, if you go to MET-ARB, you also give that mediator the power of a judge where they can arbitrate and make decisions. Now, in my particular case, I went to mediation. I thought we came to a consensus. The consensus was not signed by my ex-wife, and she decided to well, and then the mediator put his arbitrator hat on and forced the mediated settlement, and we went to appeals court. So I've spent $160,000 on lawyers, guys. I gave up $1.1 million of equity to my ex. Okay, it's on file. I still have the boxes. I know you're supposed to throw these things away. I kept everything. I can show you every single receipt. The credit company that kept charging my gold MasterCard almost every month, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. It was like clockwork. I hired a lawyer for $5,000 a month. Okay, so and she went through 4 lawyers, which is why it cost so much. So every time she changed lawyers, more billable hours.
She's not liking the outcome, so she can.
Yeah, and you know, as negative as that sounds, I ended up getting, you know, once I did get to mediation and arbitration, because obviously I think it would have been cheaper to go to family court. They were like, oh, it's going to cost you $75,000 to fight it in court, and this is like 20 years ago, right? Okay, that would have been cheaper. It would have been cheaper. I would have saved half my money. Okay. So anyways, the problem is quite often is the disagreement between the two parties in a divorce on the pricing.
Yes.
Unfortunately, beneficiaries to a divorce quite often think that they'll pick a number in their head to get out of it, and it's not worth that, especially in this market. You guys have to put, well, first of all, you do need to do mortgage verification. And what's also really important, once you've done that mortgage verification, you find out how much equity is left in the property, right? The parties are going to have to fill out what's called a net property information statement, NPIS. Okay, you guys probably Google it. That form is actually downloadable from the ministry. So when you fill that out, what you're really trying to do is you're trying to figure out the assets and how much how much equity there is for these parties that are getting divorced.
We should be doing that as a rule these days anyways.
Yeah, it should be. But you as agents really need to address the pricing and be honest, because one party, I get it, will think it's worth more. It has to be worth more. I need it to be worth more.
In order for me to move on,
In order for me to move on, I need it to be worth this. I need that money. Well, if the money doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. Okay, the property is worth whatever the market is willing to pay for it.
Exactly.
Okay, and quite often, even after you sell the property, that money gets held in trust and never gets released until the settlement has been finalized. Okay, best practices, separate communication channels, which we kind of addressed with the co-listing agreement. But if you're able to be neutral and friendly to both sides, that's often best. I often find that because you have 2 brokerages involved, quite often you have you have to split the commission, but that ends up costing more. Like all your discounts go out the window because you got to feed 2 brokerages, right? Understand the legal timelines. My divorce took 3 years. Yeah, that's why it cost so much. So, but that's an extreme.
Right, of course, 3 years.
Yeah. So 3 years is a long time. I think that like if you're taking on these clients, you got to be in it for the long haul. Okay, and don't get frustrated. It's just the way things
Know that the likelihood of you getting frustrated is high.
Yep.
If you think you're going to hit that line, then move along.
Absolutely.
It's not worth that.
Absolutely. You're going to be in the counseling mode. The other thing that I probably want to talk about, no, I'm not going to talk about it. Let's leave some of the stuff for the actual courses. If I'm sure Brian has, I think he has a family law, of course, as well. Let's talk about debt. Is anyone experiencing any debt?
Everybody's favorite.
Oh, the mortgage rates went up. Oh, my $2,000 mortgage is now $3,000 something mortgage.
I'm seeing a lot of that.
Are you
now.
seeing a lot of that now?
That bought in 2021.
Yeah. So people that bought in 2021, when the mortgage is coming due, if they got a 5-year, that's
We are.
2026. Okay. And a remnant of it in 2027 because closings were happening in 2022, right? So we know that we're getting to the tail end of it.
This year and next.
The vast the record-breaking amount of mortgages being renewed happened last year and this year because people did take a 3 to 4 and then but very few took a 5 for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why, but it was available to them, but they decided to because
The rates were higher.
Huh?
The rates were higher on 5-year versus 3.
Yeah, that's probably why. So we're seeing everything kind of pan out now. These people are probably in pre-foreclosure. Now, foreclosure is not as common in Canada as it is in the US, right? So let's call it power of sale, right? Power of sales, they don't need to foreclose, right? They're just going to assume title and sell, whether you like it or not. I did have a discussion at TREB during an MLS meeting as to why they allow dual listings. The seller can still maintain that they want to sell their property on MLS with their agent, and then the lender has chosen an agent to sell it under power of sale. I've seen battles where the seller is undercutting the bank, which is nuts.
I've seen the other way around too, where the seller thinks they're gonna get a lot and then the bank listing is cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're just gonna go, why are you guys doing that to yourself?
Yeah.
Like,
So it's weird in my mind to
and I think you're always safer dealing with the bank than the seller.
yeah. Well, dealing with the
You know,
bank, you're pretty much guaranteed to get paid.
Yeah.
Depending on who the lender is. There's some private lenders out there that don't have the ability to take a loss and pay you. So and those private mortgages were rampant in the early 2020s, right? So I think obviously that type of guys, it's a completely different market out there. You can't make the assumption that there's enough money to get paid, and you don't. I don't want to see that file show up on my desk or in my inbox saying that there's a statement of claim and get calls from lawyers saying, well, your agent, you're holding a deposit. You can't keep it. You're going to have to give it to us because there's going to be no commission. It's just not a conversation I want to
You gotta
have.
do your homework. You really
I get
have
it.
to. And for that $40 that it costs for the, to get.
The parcel register.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Best money you ever spent.
Yeah.
The other thing that's happening are investor liquidations. I remember having this conversation years ago with the guys going, it was in the condominium, like you could own 20 condos. Imagine your portfolio when you own 20 condos, when they go up 20 times. What an amazing sales pitch. Yeah, but when they go down, they go back down 20 times. It's just like, oh gosh.
Like a realtor on the news that was like, I don't know, he had like 6 properties and they, he was crying the blues because he was gonna lose his shirt.
You know what? We've seen people losing their shirts. I'm dealing with one right now on a lease. A realtor bought pre-construction. It just came online. They're in interim occupancy. It's empty. He bought it as an investment. He's lost 100 grand on it. Okay, like he's closed, but it's worth 100 grand less than what he paid for it. And now he needs to lease it. And in the particular area where I'm dealing with, the leases that used to be about $2,200, $2,300, $2,400 per month are now down below $1,800. They're around $1,750. The carrying cost for this, from what I understand, was close to $2,600 just on the mortgage without maintenance fees. You're bleeding cash. You are bleeding cash. But unfortunately, that's the market rate. Right. So just to give you an idea what the product is, it's like a junior one bedroom. It should be called a bachelor. There's no door.
They're all like that.
They're all like that now, right? They call them one bedrooms and they're not. There's no door. So, and when you look, there's hundreds of these out there.
That's what's It's a bloated market for those, but who wants those?
Like, I don't take on tenants, but this is a former agent of ours, and this was her nephew, and he's here on an internship. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do a lease. I'm gonna show a tenant some leases, you know, as a favor. But boy, it's what I've learned just by taking him out and showing him some of these properties. And you know, they still got the plastic on the carpets in the hallways, right? There's no paint on the walls, but they've taken possession, right? That's the state of some of these condos. But these guys are bleeding cash. It's obviously it's an internship. I spoke to the listing agent and said, hey, look, this is not a permanent thing. It's not going to live there forever. So they'll be out next year. So just think this as a mitigation exercise. Get some cash flow, right? Pay off your debts, right? Carry it until the market improves, and then he'll be gone by then.
Which will probably be 3 years.
Exactly.
There.
This is a scary thing to talk about is job loss. Was it in this room? We had a mastermind once.
Are you letting me go right now?
Yeah. Somebody said their client didn't get approved for a mortgage because they're in the automotive industry. Was it here? No, it wasn't this room. So I actually brought that to a regional vice president of a very large bank and saying, are you guys not approving mortgages because someone worked in the automotive industry? He goes, where'd you hear that? And I'm like, I'm hearing it from the ground. Like, what do you got? What are the underwriters thinking? Like, well, I'm gonna have to talk to that underwriter. That's not true. And I'm like, well, it's happening. So you might want to put a memo out and find out really what's happening. I think it's important that we as realtors, if we have a client, Oshawa's right here. I know that they cut one shift. Okay, so they're down 33%. They've lost a lot of workers because of that one shift reduction. I get it. But for the people who still have a job, shouldn't they be able to make life choices? Why are they being scrutinized? I need to know the logic behind that. It's a real thing, but when I went to the CCIM breakfast last week, I saw Jason Mercer and Raymond Wong, formerly from Altus, and I was interesting to hear because the mayor in Oshawa had announced that they've removed all development charges for industrial development because they want that. Remember talking about Canadian Armed Forces? They want the defense contracts. They want to manufacture because 5% of GDP is going to be put into defense. Defense contractors are going to be able to benefit from this. If you can convince someone who needs to open up a manufacturing plant in Oshawa, won't that offset jobs? Like I'm looking at Oshawa right now and the decisions that their leadership at the regional and municipal level are making. I think that's a positive thing. Okay, so that's
They need something to happen for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oshawa needs a spark, and that announcement was, in my opinion, a spark. Okay, Mississauga cut their development charges in half. So for my Mississauga agents out there, I want you to be rest assured that that particular municipality is also addressing it. So if we can get rid of all these taxes and attract development, that's going to increase jobs. Okay, so that's the positive side of things. But yes, you know what? Let's call it a shift. People with their traditional occupations are probably going to have to find other work, right? I know that Nazanin has got a comment again, but I'm going to talk to you about the media industry. A lot of people in the media industry are being laid off.
Okay. Radio,
Newspaper, television, because you know, internet news, right? Who needs CTV? Who needs global, right? Right. But what we are losing is local, right? There's all of our local news outlets are slowly being swallowed up and disappearing, right? Nazanin, go ahead.
There was a conversation about foreign buyers foreign buyers ban lift as of 2027, and I guess there was also Doug Ford's been talking about the foreign buyers tax, and they're asking federal government. Was there any development on that?
So at TREB and at AREA and at CREA, there are 3 levels of government on the real estate industry side that have government relations committees. I was only on a subcommittee specifically for the city of Toronto. Were you on that committee as well? Oh, you are on that committee.
Was.
You were, yeah. So I know that we've signed an NDA. We can't talk about what we talk about in committee, but I will tell you this: what has been publicly spoken about are the achievements of the government relations committees moving the needle in the right direction. So I can rest assure you, and I don't speak on behalf of the board, that's only the president's job. If you listen to what the president says, okay, because he is our spokesperson, listen very carefully. Don't have apathy here, okay? Get involved with your associations, listen to what they're saying. Because Nazanin, if you keep a track of what we're doing at all the association levels, that question will probably already, you have the answer to that question already in your head. We are consistently lobbying the government to make these changes. The stress test did its job.
Yeah,
Isn't it time for it to go?
Yeah, well, the foreign buyer the ban really killed the condo market, because even though it was only 6% of the purchase power, but still many of the builders are out of job right now because
But it's not the only
sense-
thing, Nazanin. It's not the only thing that killed the condo market, right? Interest
No,
rates had a
I know,
huge.
but I guess it's gonna give a good life back to the construction if the ban is lifted.
It seems so clear, but it's not, because there are opposing forces that do not want immigration in this country. They think that we need to take care of our own before we let anybody else in.
Mhm.
Okay, and if you went to the market outlook, you would hear Jason and our guest speakers say lots of things like, here's a statistic that you guys should know. An immigrant that comes to this country buys a home within 2 to 3 years of becoming a landed immigrant, whereas a homegrown Canadian takes decades to buy a home. Why is that? Because the qualification for that immigrant to come to Canada meant they had to have money.
Yeah.
So that statistic showed up on the slides at the market outlook. Okay, 2 to 3 years. Okay, so do we want that? Hey, they're not foreigners. They're landed immigrants, so they're not categorized as foreign. That's a big portion of our market, but there are, unfortunately, and I'm going to say this personally, I don't speak on behalf of anybody else, there are unfortunately forces that don't like it.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
But don't forget that if those immigrants can create the jobs, like Canadian can go back to the job market.
Well, we also don't forget we had 1 million temporary people here, and they've all left. And
Yeah.
you wonder why there's so much vacancy,
Yeah, that's right.
right?
He left.
We had a housing crisis. We don't have a housing crisis anymore. Think about it. Look at all the vacancy. What we have is an affordability crisis.
That's exactly right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as Ipsos said, it's no longer a crisis, it's chronic.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah. It's
Yeah.
not,
I got a pain crisis,
Yeah.
but I'm living with it. That's why I'm on Genicol.
All right. Thank you so much,
No
Charles.
problem. Okay, so the fourth D is distress. Now let's define distress. The first one is property damage or neglect. We just had an extreme winter. Okay, there are people that had so much snow on their roofs, the roofs are caving in. Right? You had one of those?
We had water coming from the roof, but the ice damming.
Ice damming, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Because the valleys aren't wide enough.
For ceilings, water was coming in, so we're in the process now of dealing with that in 2 areas.
Yep.
And in the living room, white.
And water sucks.
It's
Okay,
after that.
it
Least
sucks.
resistance.
So water damages, we just had an extreme winter, extremely low temperatures, like historically. Some of the newer buildings that built water mains too close to the exterior of the envelopes, right? They were bursting, millions of dollars of damages. Okay, and we know of some of these projects. It's a real thing. A lot of people, because of that kind of distress, want to get out. Okay, health issues. You're healthy one day, and you're not the next. You can walk up and down those stairs one day, and the next you can't. Right? We're dealing with an aging population. The baby boomers are getting old, and they can't all climb stairs no more. Right? The value of a bungalow is going up,
Always.
like it always has. Right?
Food chain.
And what the value of the 2-story is going down. Why don't we build so many 2-stories? What happened to building bungalows for decades?
we wanted bigger and better. We
Yeah.
4-bedroom, massive, you know.
Cost of land.
Like our families were growing, our families were shrinking at the same time
Yeah.
as we're
Yeah.
building, you know.
It's always cheaper to go up than it is out,
Absolutely.
but we just screwed ourselves. Okay, I've got a number of clients that are waiting for bungalows and none are coming on the market. Okay, so you got one? You got a bungalow?
Beautiful.
I need Simcoe Landing. I've got a prospect match set up for it.
Basement.
I've got a neighbor that's looking for a bungalow right now, but the only bungalows that are online are luxury bungalows, right? So we shouldn't need 3,000 square feet or 4,000 square feet, right? 2,000 is fine, even 1,500, right?
I think a bungalow 1,500 or something.
It's more than enough.
Yeah. If you need more than that, buy a 2-story. With a chairlift.
Let's call so we're talking about deployment, sudden relocations. We have a population that needs to come back to the GTA, GTHA or GGH, the Greater Golden Horseshoe. We spent a good portion of the beginning of the pandemic and immediately afterwards moving everybody out. They sold their properties here and then they're working from home. Now they're all got to come back. So, yeah, and gas. Should we talk about gas today? What did you see? 157. Okay, so this is being recorded on the 10th of March of 2026. So anybody watching this video, right, just know that today, right, we're looking 160 a liter.
I
Okay.
got it as cheap as 118 if you.
Are you guys using the 6 cents off the Shell?
Yeah. Well, I have a Royal Bank account with Petrocan, so you get a few cents off of
You
it.
got the member perks.
Yeah, member perks.
From Shell.
Yeah. That's through Oria, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oria's got that member perk.
They got 6, because I get 3 cents just from using my CAA card at
Yeah.
Shell. You get another 6.
You get another 6 from the member perk. Hey, we're gonna start adding this up, guys.
How do you get that
So Shell member perks plus your 3 cents for CAA. Hey, I'll take whatever. So we know that gas is now becoming an issue.
Okay.
Commuting times, the hyper commuting is almost unthinkable when you're paying, you know, $1.60 a liter, and you drive a V8.
Well, people are still doing it.
I know. So you know what? These
The roads are fuller than they've ever been.
these are discussions for you guys to have. You know what cars these guys drive, and you know where they live, and you know where they work. Call them today. Okay, it's a conversation starter. And overwhelmed owners as people. It has to do with aging as well. Who could shovel that snow? Like, I'm not that old. I'm done. My back is done. Okay, I can't do it. I stopped shoveling. I started driving on the snow. And I hate it.
It's really
To, showing yesterday with all that thaw.
Yep.
Water
Flooding,
in the basement.
water in the basement.
Their yard is a swamp.
The first person to call me when they get a flood are my clients. Because they think I'm the handy guy and they're like, "Oh, figure this out, right?" I'm like, "Oh my God. I'm not," because I work for free.
It's happening to people that never had it before. So,
Yep, we had an extreme winter.
yeah.
Okay, and because we had such a prolonged deep freeze, think of wet soil between houses. And that's a block of ice. And a block of ice, what happens when it freezes? It expands.
One day.
We're looking at foundation walls between houses that were built very close together and had poor drainage. Their foundation walls are cracking inwards.
Is that more prevalent in like link homes?
Not even limp homes, anywhere where they manage to get close enough
Yeah.
to the property line.
If there's enough moisture between the houses, so in the case that I'm thinking of, there was a downspout, it wasn't routed out to grade to go onto the street. It just collected between the houses. All this, the entire season of all that water collecting between the houses, and then boom, you hit this freeze. What do you think is going to happen? That's an ice block, and it's going to push into your foundation on both sides. So equally, both neighbors have a huge problem. Okay, so these kind of these owners are being overwhelmed, and that's structural, right? That is a structural, yeah. I've actually heard of homes being almost written off.
There's some people like, man, I can't pay to fix this. Let's just move.
Yeah, let's just move. Exactly, right? Yeah, so those are obviously things that like we can give practical support to these people that are they're distressed about their particular property that they're living in. We should be connected good with like junk vendors, repair people. I, I here's what I hate, but it happens a lot. Oh, sell it as is. What?
That's the answer.
That's the answer to everything, right? As is, where is. We love putting that in
I
MLS.
told you right in the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Okay, all right, all right. Actually, I used to share lawyers as is, where is clauses. And this was years ago. I remember one of the Kleinberg agents used one of my clauses totally out of context. Please don't use my clauses out of context. Okay. These are power of sale as is, where is clauses. The lenders have never seen the property. They can make no representations and warranties. That's why there's a specific as is, where is clause. Don't use it because your client doesn't want to disclose. That's not
for the
cool.
homeowner, that's for the one.
That's not for the homeowner. Okay. Anyways, that's just weird stuff going on. And quick refresh strategies. If you're a good real estate agent, you know how to sell a property, what it should look like, smell like, taste like,
Is very important.
smell, right?
Very important.
Come on. One of the most powerful scents that we have, apart from seeing something, is odor. Okay? I can't stress it enough. If I can smell mold, there is mold.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Plain and simple. And as a buyer agent, I smell mold. Alarm bells going off in my head. Okay? So guys, we have to mitigate. Right? Bleach is your friend, believe it or not.
Get out ahead of it.
You got it. Okay. And the final D are demographics. Upsizing for growing families. That is a real thing. That's where the pent-up demand is really occurring right now. There are people that can't live in the home that they're in right now. Do you know who they are?
Yeah, they're couples. They were couples. The guy buys a condo.
Yeah.
Has a girlfriend, thinks the 1-bedroom condo will be great.
Yeah.
And I usually see him in about 2 to 3 years because then the babies come along.
Yeah. Baby's here.
Yeah.
Right. I just saw an old agent of ours from like a gazillion years ago. And he's got 4 kids now. I was like, you've got 4? Holy mackerel! You've been busy, man.
You have clients that are single and living in a 1-bedroom condo.
Yes.
Keep in touch with them.
Exactly.
Oh, you got a new girlfriend?
You got a new girlfriend. Amazing. Okay. And then this, although this is not a politically correct term, it's called right sizing, but people call it downsizing.
Yeah.
So let's be politically correct. Okay. It's right sizing for people who no longer, they're empty nesters.
Yes.
Kids have grown up. They've left the nest.
I'm waiting.
You're waiting?
I'm waiting.
Okay.
I got one left.
You got one left?
I got one left.
Right. Everyone's got one left. There's always that one that won't leave.
Turning 21 in April. We're got our fingers crossed.
So I've got a few of those clients, and here's what they've done. They've actually reached out to me and said, you know what? I gotta get him out. So we're gonna get him up by selling, but I'm gonna buy him something, right? So he can get out. Okay, so that's 1 sale, 2 purchases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cha-ching.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So who's buying and selling?
For those who can afford, yeah, you want to stay close to those people.
You got it. Okay. People that retire. Right? That's where that SRES designation comes in really well. Let's do this as an exercise, guys. Write down places that you know. We'll do a little Google search. I think yellowpages.ca still exists for somewhat of the retirement home sector. But what I'm more interested in is we should categorize them in 3 different categories. One is luxury. The ones that charge 10 grand a month. Hey, who could afford 10 grand a month? Who makes 10 grand a month to pay 10 grand a month? I get it. You walk in, cappuccino or espresso. You're like, what?
Like a luxury hotel.
Exactly. You're living in a hotel.
In
It's
this
beautiful.
people, there are people that can, in this city, there are people that can. afford
There
that.
are.
They're a small section and usually they're already connected.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the moderate retirement. I'm thinking of all these Dell properties that,
3 to 5.
yeah, 3,000 to 5,000 a month.
which is still a lot of money.
It's
when you're-
still-
When you're retired,
When you're retired.
unless you have enough, like a pension's not gonna.
Absolutely.
You have no leftovers.
You have nothing left,
Yeah.
right? You're taking care of your parents, right? Or parent, right? And obviously, and this is gonna be the hardest, right, are the affordable choices.
Line up, sir.
I can't imagine the wait list. I'm gonna talk about life leases during one of my I actually had a contract with Yi Hong, and they they do life leases. I'm not sure if you guys have heard that term before. You have equity, so you're leasing with equity, right? And you can sell your lease.
Scarborough Golf Club, Mazurk Town.
Yeah, yeah.
Is a life lease community.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Moonshong is a competitor. I'm in the Asian sector, right? So
obviously,
Moonshong, Yihong, those are the Chinese ones. I know that downtown, the Korean community have one called the Rose of Sharon. It was right off of Vaughan and Caledonia somewhere close to St. Clair. I'm not sure that it's still controlled by our community. There's a Japanese one, you're right.
Markham in Kingston.
I-
Omiji on this.
Yeah, I know that
That's a retirement, the retirement.
I know that there's extended care facilities because I know that the DeGasperis
That's
families.
really-
They were extended care's head office is actually right at Woodbine and Steeles. They have a head office there. I'm not sure if it's still there, but they manage right all the extended care facilities across the province. There's so many options out there, but yes, if you can plan to get on a waiting list, I highly suggest, because if that's the affordable choice and that's the option, you got to start planning that stuff now.
Yeah.
How beneficial are your services when you're dealing with a family with aging parents and you're trying to protect them by making these plans now versus later, when it's too late.
Do it when you don't need it, because when you need it.
Absolutely. Okay. Generational lifestyle preferences. I did that seminar on laneway suites and garden suites.
Yeah.
We actually, this is a real thing. We have families that are coming back together. They own two separate properties. They want to live together, right?
It helps to take care
They
of
help
people when
each
you're
other.
close.
They help each other, right? They'll take two small houses and buy a mansion. Hey, that's two sales and one buy. Like, guys, these are things that are happening out there. I don't know why people are complaining that there's no business.
Mhm.
Business.
There's business. You're just not asking any questions.
There's always business, never mind what the market's doing, there is always business to find.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we fall into, when we fall into the doom and gloom of, oh my God, the market. It's not the market that determines.
Yeah.
The people always buying and selling.
Also, I'm gonna go rewind the clock here. When all my friends had kids going to a particular school, we have to be in that school district. That's a demographic change, right? Like
It's still out there.
it's still out there. You know what? And there are parents, they don't care about the market, right? This is about their kid. And that kid has to go to this school. You understand?
Gotta go to the academy, never mind.
Exactly. Okay. And depending what stage we are in our lives, there's another D out there called the diploma. Another D, right? It really is a demographic change. You just graduated from university. You're going out there and you want to be on your own. It may be just a lease. It may begin as just a lease, but it could turn into other things quite quickly, because people that come out of school that are very talented are making big coin. And I'm talking about the tech sector. Okay. Like I've seen these interns getting 6-figure salaries right out of university. I'm like, holy crap. And these are the kids that are on the way to the sunshine list. They're going to be making salaries of like $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. Real estate is just part of their portfolio.
Mhm.
Wouldn't it be cool to hook yourself up with these really smart kids? Because if you're their realtor for life, you're their family's realtor for life.
Mhm.
Hey, don't ignore these guys.
You catch them in their 20s.
You got it. So really, I'm gonna put it out to you guys. I've listed 7 Ds, but for some reason, these Ds keep reoccurring in any market space. It doesn't matter whether it's a good or bad market. Like, can you guys think of anything else where people absolutely need to buy or sell in any market? Food.
Food is the only other thing, but that's like, the relationship we have with them is different. We all have to eat. So regardless of what happens, but housing and food, I think are the two. And in this, and where we are here, it's fuel. Those are the three.
Can we talk about cultural alignment a little bit? Because food is one thing, but is it my food? Is it your food?
Right.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, maybe I like souvlaki. Maybe I like chicken chow mein. Maybe I like beef vindaloo. There's so many things that people will want to live close to,
Yes.
okay? And when they don't live close to that, they seek it out.
Mhm.
It's their culture. Right? And you almost can't put a price on that. They have to be close to their people.
Yeah.
Right? And I know Don Cherry got in big trouble for saying exactly what I just said. But how else do you describe it?
Hey, it's the reality. We moved here in 1970 and my parents gravitated to the Greek community.
Yes.
Because they couldn't speak the language.
Yeah.
It happens to all immigrants. And then once you sort of get here and you acclimatize and you assimilate a little bit, you get to move out outside of it if you want. Because I know people that didn't learn to speak the language at all and still survived
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
right? That happens, but you know, it's politically incorrect to sort of look at it.
Yeah.
Even though it's exactly the same.
Political correctness is such a broad term now, right? It's I'm so glad to see Don Cherry get the Order of Ontario. Okay, I don't think he really. I think he got thrown into the bus.
I don't think the guy's
Okay.
hateful.
He's not a
just
hateful
hey,
guy.
I tell it like it is, like that's what's going on.
He's just a very supportive guy, especially for soldiers, and he got chastised for it. So, and I think that's completely unfair, but that's just my opinion. And that was during the time, unfortunately, that was during the time of cancel culture.
Yeah.
But we've
We
seen,
love to be outraged for other people.
yeah, exactly.
It's like, save it. Is the other person outraged? Don't be outraged for it.
Right. So, you know, it's obviously like we almost need professional sensitivity training. I'm getting it from Trev right now. I got to do a follow-up media training course, and I'm learning a lot about what leaders should say, how they should say it, what they can and cannot say. It's an entire textbook that you got to learn. And I'm willing to go through the training if it's offered to me for free.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
You know, but apparently these courses cost thousands and thousands of dollars to take. So what I would like to do for you guys, right? If you're struggling, if you'd like, I'll share my notes with you. And if you're interested, you know, come into the office. I'm not going to do this over Zoom or something crazy like that, but book an appointment with me and we'll sit down. And I think we're all influencers in one way, shape, or another, whether we like it or not. We influence people, whether we do it online, right, or in person. We are influencers. And it's really important that we influence people's decisions for the right reasons. It's far more important now than ever before. We can't be lackadaisical and apathetic, right, to what's going on around us. Purposeful, right? Get up every single morning with purpose. And if you don't have purpose that morning, find it, right? Have someone give it to you. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Anything else that you guys want to throw in last minute? Anything from, we got about 17 people left on the call.
Covered all the best ones.
Covered all the best ones.
All of it.
So if you guys can take these 5 Ds, do you think you can use these 5 Ds and go out and find some business? I think you can. I think just talking about this, something's popped into each and every one of your heads. Somebody has popped into your head and you were like, I should call that person. Oh my God, like I haven't spoken to that person in years, or they're in that exact situation that Charles just talked about. What am I doing about it? All right, am I creating business from something that I learned today?
I have clients who right now just had a death, just became empty nesters, and are actually, so the death they had was his mom just died.
Yeah.
Their kid just moved out.
Yeah.
I bought them a condo for them, but now they're thinking of downsizing, but instead of sort of downsizing as how they were originally thinking, they realize that, oh, her parents are elderly, we need to make sure we stay close to them. So it's like all of the.
You got to orchestrate. You're the conductor now. Okay, you go here and you start that. That's amazing. So that's a trifecta.
It is a trifecta. Yeah.
So who's buying and selling, guys? You answer my question. You guys can all answer my question now.
Everyone's buying and selling.
Buying and selling.
You know what, one of the best things that I guess coaches do, I know Rob Vivian does it.
Yeah.
Is that they tell you, never mind what's happening in the market is not for us to worry about. Right?
Yep.
It's like people are still moving, people are still buying and selling, the market goes up, people buy and sell, the market goes down, people buy and sell. You don't get stuck in what's happening. Be the conduit that makes the things happen, right?
We are 10,000 transactions short of where we're supposed to be.
It's pent up.
It's all pent up, guys.
It's gonna release at some point.
Right? I think with the warmer weather, because it was a brutal February. January, February were awful. Right? Since
Yeah.
that big storm that happened in the middle of January till like last week. I'm so exhausted.
Yeah.
But I got crap to do. We all do. Okay? I just took down my Christmas decorations.
I saw that, yeah. All your work.
I was gonna write it today too, but it's the clouds are coming. so I
You
couldn't.
got your motorcycle out?
Yeah, today's supposed to rain, yeah, I got it out yesterday and made a Facebook video.
That is
because
awesome.
It'll come back in your memory.
That's right.
We've had, you're right, the weather has been the biggest factor
Yep.
this year. And it's stunted, we all know, like, hey, when the spring market really happens, when most of the snow melts. So you're not, like, I carried a shovel this year and I had to shovel my way into showings
Yep.
several times.
Yeah, we're right there with you.
Right? Nobody thinks about it. I got this one place and literally there's like 3 feet of snow to the front door. It was vacant, no, like owner and agent didn't think about it. If I
Hey.
didn't have that shovel, we wouldn't have gone in there.
You know what?
Literally,
Now
I had to
that's
dig out the-
real estate standard issue. Carry a shovel in your trunk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that, some salt, you know. it's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the end of it. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. It's been a slice. I know that it's been about a month since I held this. It's been really busy for us over at Trub. But I'm not making excuses. I do owe you guys a lot more of this. So hopefully we can get more of these topics going. But I'm gonna reach out to Brian and I'm seeing if he'll team up with me. How much?
300.
300? Yeah. You know what? Money's money, but knowledge.
Pretty much every course you're gonna take from that guy
Yeah.
is worth, is.
Yeah.
I love it.
value.
I love it. I will promote Brian day and night.
Great.
So Brian, if you're watching this video, kudos to you.
Yeah, he's got both, right? He's a broker and he's a lawyer.
Yeah, so
You know,
I would take his courses over and over again.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just happy that I have him to call a friend.
we're lucky in this company that we have the depth of knowledge we do
Yeah.
in not just the management positions, you're like a wealth of knowledge. Hey, if you're listening on this call today and you don't realize it, you got an encyclopedia.
Thank you, Minus. I'll take that.
But we also have people on, as part of the group, like Brian.
Yep.
Same thing, like, if you have a legal question, reach out to that.
Reach
guy.
out to him.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you guys for joining me. I look forward to. I will post a new poster and a registration link for the next one. It will probably be in 2 weeks, weather permitting. Hopefully the freeze stays away. We'll do it in person consistently, but there's always going to be online. So for you guys who think that the Scarborough office is too far, I get it. But come see me if you do run into me. I will have a pocket full of pens and I will be handing them out. Okay. Until next
Thank
time.
you.
See you guys.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
Things that you saw.